What's up, Barnhill family? And welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, while the great UFC 268 card was taking place in Madison Square Garden last night, there was also a pretty damn good boxing match going on. Boxing's biggest attraction, Canelo Alvarez, was back in action against Caleb Plant. A very good and competitive fight for a while it lasted. A lot of people thought Caleb Plant had some success and was winning a lot of those early rounds, putting him in the bank. But ultimately, it's just Canelo's power these days. He seems to be taking everybody out, whether it's breaking their orbitals, knocking them unconscious, putting them down with body shots. Canelo really seems to be operating on a level that's just a cut above everybody else right now.
Yep. One of those things I'll never complain about, but sometimes I wish were a little bit different, is when you have such a great boxing match on at the exact same time as an amazing UFC event. It just so happens to be that one was in Vegas, one was in New York City, so the times of the main events were kind of mashing up almost perfectly. So it did work out for us. We pulled the TV down from upstairs. We brought it, put a table down, set them both up, got everything working. So we didn't miss a bit of anything. We didn't miss a single round either way. But you know, when you're watching both at the same time, I said it last night, I wish like my eyes could just like go in two separate directions. One could watch the boxing, one could watch the UFC. But we definitely got to have our cake and eat it too last night. Canelo Alvarez, next level. I mean, his boxing skills look as good as the Dolce & Gabbana suit that he wears. That's Canelo collaboration. Wonderful. He's just such a great ambassador for the sport of boxing. I really think that when you have your young kid and they show interest in combat sports and boxing in particular, that's somebody you show as a superhero. Look, Canelo is a true professional. He shows up on time for work every time, on weight, in perfect shape. He's in the gym year round. He doesn't mess with lack of dedication. He doesn't mess with any sort of shenanigans. He's a serious guy, a true professional. That's the way he's gotten to 55-1 now. He only lost to Floyd Mayweather. So he's truly one of the greatest of all time. I think he's got the style that is like maybe the most enjoyable fighting style in boxing that we've ever seen. The Mexican come forward, stand and trade with you, but also be disappearing act when it comes to defense. He's like Floyd Mayweather mixed with the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., right? Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty incredible. And that's the thing that's going to make his career have such longevity to it. Because as we talked about in the build-up to this, the Mexican style of boxing is one of the most entertaining styles to watch. However, it is certainly not a style that lends to a lot of longevity. When you fight in a phone booth, you tend to deal with a lot of brain damage, unfortunately. You get hit with a lot of shots. You end up with some knockout losses on your record. You get a lot of knockout wins and you earn a lot of fans, but it's a tough style to have a lot of longevity in the sport. Canelo has taken and pays homage to that come forward, bite down in your mouthpiece style, but he does it in a more intelligent way than anybody has done it to date, I believe. He also learned the defensive aspect to boxing because it's a dance. There can only be somebody leading the dance and somebody following at any given time. So when you're throwing your punches, your opponent's being defensive. Then it's their turn to lead the dance. You got to be defensive, otherwise they score on you. And he has learned to handle that balancing act better than anybody. But I think the biggest story is at this stage in his career, now that he's kind of filled into his body and he's in his 30s, he's more of a mature man. His power is next level. I mean, he broke Billy Joe Saunders' orbital to the point where his corner had to throw in the towel. He's knocking Caleb Plant around last night, a 6'1". I mean, Caleb Plant's no small guy. 6'1", big, strong guy, country boy from Tennessee. Like, those guys don't go down easily. And to put him down twice like that and finish him off is incredible. I think Canelo's one of the best finishers in the game. As soon as when I saw that Caleb went down with 2 minutes and I think 11 seconds left in that 11th round, I said, it's over. There's no way. This is the beginning of the round and he got him down. He's done this round. He's not making it to the bell because Canelo's finishing abilities are next level. And as you said, he doesn't even necessarily have to hit you with the clean shots once he knocks you down like that. He's very good at noticing where your balance is, because after you get up like that, you're very wobbly, you're very unsteady on your feet, and he can hit you in the shoulder. All he has to do is knock you off balance, and then you're falling down, and he hits you with one of those big uppercuts and then an overhand on your way down, and it's all she wrote. I think Canelo Alvarez is the best boxer in the world right now.
I have to agree with you. Perception's everything, too. We talk about how good of a finisher Terrence Crawford is, and he does that so well. When he has somebody hurt, smells blood in the water, as we like to say, he goes after him. He puts a barrage of punches punches on him that makes the referee go, I cannot let this happen any longer. And that's kind of what we saw last night with Canelo. Caleb Plant, I keep wanting to call him Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, but Caleb Plant, was wobbling and stumbling all over the place, and Canelo was sort of chasing him down. It's so crazy to see. It's like a David and Goliath type of visual, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, in reality, in the boxing skills, Canelo is the Goliath, but optically, he is the David, right? He's so much smaller, but he's hunting these guys down, and I think the way this world works as far as combat sports and boxing and any sort of fighting sport, it's you're hunting and you're being hunted. And Canelo is the best hunter in the game, but now we're realizing that he's one of the craftiest escape artists in the world. His defense is getting crazy. He's not taking much damage in these fights, which a lot of boxers can't really say. There's a few people that really go unscathed in their career, later in their career. Canelo's one of them. He's not really getting hurt that much. Caleb Plant did a lot of good things. He showed how tough he was. He showed a long jab. But, when you're being hunted the entire fight and you're just surviving long enough, and I thought he won a few rounds, but he's
not as many as everybody made it out to be, though.
Yeah, some people were saying he won, he was up by the time the 8th round came around, he was up 5 rounds to 2 or something.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not seeing that. And that's the thing about the judging in sports is, what are you judging for? Are you a defensive guy? Or are you an offensive guy? But Canelo is constantly putting the pressure on. And you were really spot on with a lot of your predictions for the UFC. I was spot on with this one, which I should have put some money on it, right?
Yeah.
Canelo finishing the 10th or 11th. I think it ended up being the 11th sometime halfway through the round or so. But Caleb Plant's so tough. I think his stock went up. There's a lot of fun fights I'd like to see that would literally be Canelo's former opponents. I'd love to see Billy Joe Saunders in there with him. I'd love to see Callum Smith versus Caleb Plant. Stuff like that would be a lot of fun for me. And right now we're watching a rise for Canelo. He's rising to greatness. Let's just see him in there with as many different bodies as we can see until he's gone. And let's get all these guys that can't hang with him, but have shown really tough demeanors and high-level boxing skills. Let's put them in with each other, and let's start to rise their names a bit as well.
Yeah, the Charlos are certainly wanting that fight with Canelo. But And as good as they are and as powerful as they are, I just don't see the skill level being the same. No. But that's still a big fight.
Be fun,
I mean, the Charlo brothers do carry a big name, and they've got a big fan base. We're here in Houston, so obviously they're a little bit bigger here than they are in other places. But I think that would be a lot of fun. But I think Canelo's just operating on a level that nobody's operating on right now. And you mentioned Caleb Plant's jab, and I feel like he was having some success with that. But then there were certain times where he would, seemingly for no reason, go into kind of a Philly shell situation and let Canelo walk into range, which, you know, he had the height and reach advantage and he was using it well at certain times, but then other times he would kind of let Canelo come into range without paying for it. And I think when you're allowing Canelo Alvarez to get in on you with some of those uppercuts, hooks, and body shots that he throws, it's just a big mistake, and it can cost you. And it accumulates, and it costed Caleb in the 11th round. But if there's one negative I could say about Canelo, it wouldn't be about his performance. It would be about that damn crown that he wore after the fight. It's like you have a Dolce & Gabbana sponsorship. You look like $1 million from the neck down, and then he finds like a Burger King crown to put on his head. Like, Dolce & Gabbana's got to do something. If we're going to go with the crown, let's go with a Dolce & Gabbana crown.
Don't go to Party City and pick one up that is for a costume from Halloween. I think you're right. Maybe ditch the crown. The tattoo of the crown's all he needs. He's a legend. I really love watching him fight. We're witnessing greatness right now. He's sort of like a LeBron James. Like, don't take what you're seeing for granted. Like, we're watching this. We're not going to see talent like this for a long time. So don't just think that he's just one of those guys and somebody 6 months is going to do what he's doing. Canelo Alvarez is a very, very special person. You got to go ahead and enjoy what he's doing while he's doing it, because he's not going to be here forever. But it seems like he's got quite a long career ahead of him.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how well he takes care of himself, because of how much he's able to avoid getting injured. And the sky's the limit for this guy. At the end of the day, I think he's going to wind up becoming a greatest of all time candidate, top 3 of all time, if he can continue to win another 10 fights or so.
I think you're right. I mean, I think and I certainly don't see anybody who I'm like, man, that guy would probably beat Canelo if they
until
were
you get to
fight.
heavyweight. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, he's literally going to have to be looking at like cruiserweight, heavyweight before he could find somebody that might be his equal. But I think he's not going to do that. I think he's going to sit right in his wheelhouse at 168, maybe go up to light heavyweight and just keep clearing everybody else out. And like you said, he's in the gym year round. You hear about these guys, it's like, can you do a fight 3 months from now? It's like, oh no, I'm not training right now. I need some more time than that. It's like, what do you mean you're not training? If you're not training every day, 5-6 days a week like Canelo is, you have no chance of beating him.
Right.
He is in the gym. He's going to go on vacation with his family. He's going to probably spend a week or two having fun, and then it's back to business as usual. Yeah. He's in there with the Reynosos every day. He's criticized Ryan Garcia's dedication, saying that he's not in the gym doing the things he's supposed to be doing. And so that shows you that even in his 30s and even being at the top of the mountain, the hunger is still there for Canelo. The dedication is still there, and that's why I think he's going to keep winning.
Yep, he puts all that pressure on himself, and he doesn't have to be persuaded by anybody to go wake up every morning, go to the gym and grind. Whereas it seems like Ryan Garcia kind of has to be called, like, "Hey, Ryan, don't forget we have training today." Like, that's a big red flag. And if Ryan isn't careful, he either needs to retire early or he's going to wind up getting hurt by somebody that is in there every day, hungry and looking to take names like Ryan Garcia and put them on their win list.
That's for sure. And now he is a unified champion. Canelo, one
super
of the
middleweight, only one of all time to be a super middleweight unified champion,
and one of the very few in the modern era. So good for him.
Yeah, congratulations,
guys. Thanks so much for watching this video. Drop us a comment and let us know what you thought about Canelo's performance last night. Who would you like to see him up there next against? There's a lot of names on the top of our tongue, but we want to know who you think he should fight next. So drop us a comment and let us know. And if you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel always helps us out tremendously. And until the next time, guys, have a wonderful day.
Peace.